just because, again, I know we discussed about not answering the door and stuff, but I just kind of went with my gut, and Maria opened the door, and there was a policeman out there, and it turned out to be a very nice chap, local Welsh guy, and not any air of aggression about him, more confusion than anything else. So whether it was the right thing or not to do, we allowed him in because we kind of, I sensed a bit of, hopefully it doesn't sound like I'm just making excuses, but I kind of sensed a rapport with him that he was not harmful, not aggressive, and so on. So we allowed him in, and kind of embracing the sentiment of sending out love rather than being obtuse in that way. Mm-hmm. So long and short of it, he came in, and as Maria said, we've got some of the conversation on half an hour worth of conversation on video, where altogether he came in, and I was educating him as best as I can to the legal name fraud situation for up to an hour. And he was very, very receptive to it. He admitted he was struggling to get the concept around his head, but he was also in agreement and recognizant of the fact that the whole system is corrupt, and that at the end of the day, he was doing what he was doing for his pension. Having worked in coal mines, he'd driven lorries, and by the sounds of it, he was only a part-time police officer anyway, or is acting as. So we were chatting for an hour or so, and then we got to the point of okay, so why are you here? When he first got here, he was asking for the legal name, and I said no, it's illegal to use a legal name, and asking for a legal name is aiding and abetting commit fraud. And it just went over his head. Really didn't grasp it. So hence the hour-long lecture from me about the intricacies of it. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of like, well, I better get around to business kind of thing, and said, so what are you here for? And he said, well, I'm here to follow up on a warrant because of non-appearance at a court appointment. And I said, well, you realise that is non-appearance of the legal name. I am not the legal name. They had a photo on a printout of a piece of paper, a photo that they took of me when I was first abducted. So what he was going on was the likeness of the photograph that he got on his printout. And at no point did I agree to being the legal name or give any consent at all. And like I say, I guess I'm kind of feeling maybe a bit like I've done something or been indirectly consenting where I shouldn't have. But at one point, another police officer turned up at the door. Kind of maybe following up, because this was maybe like after half an hour of this guy whose name was Hugh, and like I say, really nice guy. We were chatting for ages, obviously. This other officer came up and was kind of probably checking, because this Hugh had been here for quite a while by then. And Hugh said to the other officer, no, everything's fine, yeah, it's all right, it's all in hand. In hindsight, maybe I should have done the thing we just discussed about either lying down or sitting down saying, look, yeah, I'm not resisting, but I can't help you. But it was almost, maybe I got trapped in the thing to do with empathy or sympathising, because he was like the nice guy, unoffensive, just doing his job and all that. And to a degree, it was almost like, well, I just want to get this over and done with, because it's, one way or another, whether I'm carried or whether I walk out, it's going to happen anyway. So I said to him, well, I require you to understand that this is against my will, without my consent, and under duress through threat of intimidation, of escalation of everything, and so on. And he was like, yeah, I understand that. So he took me into the police station. I was wearing my legal name T-shirt and everything. I'd made sure I got nothing with me that like a belt or necklace or any property on me that they would take off me, just in case they decided later on that I would have to sign for it. And I've come across that before, where you got to sign for your belongings and stuff, which I hadn't done in the past, but they've always given it back, apart from one time at the magistrate's court when there was a bit of, it was almost getting a little bit heated, where I said, no, I'm not signing for my belongings, and if you don't give it back to me, that's theft, and so on.
Yeah, hey, let me point something out, just if we share this. If they're your belongings, you don't have to sign for your belongings. What they're saying is they have stolen these belongings, and if you want back this stolen property, you have to sign for them.
Exactly.
And the only signature we're going to accept is the one that you have stolen from the Crown.
Sure.
Yeah. Just for clarity there.
Yeah. Because that ties in with the legal maxims that I shared online about. 2 seconds. I'll just refer to them. Because I took a load of documents that I printed out with me, just in case that I needed them, and obviously things such as where is it now? What's mine cannot be taken away without my consent. One of their legal maxims. A person in possession is not bound to prove that the possessions belong to him. Another maxim. So I had all this prepared. I had the birth certificate. CRSS with me, and a load more paperwork as well. So skipping to the chase, got to the police station, where I recognised several of the actors animating the roles as police officers who were there on the previous occasions. They recognised me. They knew not to bother asking me to sign anything. It's like I've become one of their regulars almost. Mm-hmm. And it was, I did get a feeling, whether I was just delusional or tired or both, but I felt like I was treated like far better than before, because they kind of knew where I was coming from. And the fact that I was, they had to take my hoodie off me, which I actually had on because it was really, really cold last night. I wasn't able to go out just in a t-shirt. But they took my hoodie off because it's got strings around the hood. So they don't want you to have a chance of strangling yourself, harming yourself in the cell.
Or them.
Hey?
Or them.
Yeah, exactly. Because they are afraid of that. So I was there in all my glory with my legal name fraud t-shirt, and that got quite a significant response. A lot of smiles, and I don't know whether they actually understood it completely, but or accepted it or whatever. But it was very well noticed. So I was checked into my box for the evening. They even gave me a couple of blankets last night, because the temperature's lower here at the moment. And I just sat and read through the Clausula Rebus Sextantibus several more times, and it is true, you do see more and more in that every time you read it. Mm-hmm. As well as that Babylon is fallen and so on. And I brought a few sheets that I'd printed out as well, that I handed out to all the officers that were willing to take one from me, and I handed a few out, so got a bit more of the truth virus injected that way. Mm-hmm. And then basically, settled in for the night. I got about maybe 4 hours kind of broken sleep before waking up about somewhere between 6 and 7 o'clock this morning with the you hear movement going on and people talking and stuff, and kind of shook myself together, still kind of very bleary-eyed and disoriented a bit. But they came and got me at 8:30 this morning, saying, "Right, we're taking you over to the Crown Court now." Checked me out, as you know, of the Her Majesty's whatever, hospitality, and signed for nothing, consented for nothing, never acknowledged a name, repeated several times it's illegal to use a legal name, and so on. And they're kind of like, they're just used to it now from me. And went into the prisoner transportation over to the Crown Court this time, which was a bit further down the road than the Magistrates Court, as I described before, that is just literally over the road.
Right.
Where they then put me into another cell, awaiting the judge and his cronies to see me. And again, just was going through other further questions and stuff. I managed to get a pen from them to write down some notes that I had in mind and things that I wanted to get across to the judge on when I see him. And about 10 o'clock, I was called up. And on the first occasion when I was taken up, they didn't handcuff me, which was a pleasant surprise. And led me through a couple of corridors and up some stairs into yet another glass box in this different building. And in front of me there was the old judgy poo in his wig and whatever red cloak, sat at the back with the crown crest on the wall behind him, and about 2 or 3 other actors in their funny wigs and black cloaks on the level below him. And immediately that I was challenged with the assumption of the legal name, basically, which I denied. I said, no, I am not a legal name. It's illegal to use a legal name. That name was created and owned and is owned and protected by Crown copyright. I am a natural living being, and have no authority to have any legal dealings, so on and so forth. They duly ignored that and continued to try and push me to 2 seconds, hang on. I've got the time on. Sorry, Sue, that's Maria just come back in. So then they started to read out the charges to the legal name, and I denied those and said, once again, I am not a legal name. I am the living witness, as per the video we shared on The Rock in Australia about the cannabis and stuff, which I love. And I was expecting that on saying those things, denying any consent or joinder with any offerings of the legal name, and then stating that, as I did, that I am the living witness to crime or fraud regarding that legal name. It was saying that I have been assumed and presumed to be this legal title, which I have no authority to use. To do so would be to commit fraud, and by being asked to acknowledge or asking if I am the legal name is to aid and abet me to commit fraud. They just ignored it completely, which stunned me a bit, because I was expecting that that they would be like, oh my God, run for cover, this guy knows what we're up to. And it didn't happen. And I think the wind was kind of ripped out of my sails a bit at that point, because I'm like, oh shit, why are they just ignoring this?
Because you're alive. Only dead things are allowed in court. And the representatives, the legal representatives, as in bar attorneys, only they are allowed to speak for dead things. You didn't fit. You just didn't fit the category.
No, and because they said we understand you have declined legal representation and so on. And I said to them, I as a living being, I'm presenting myself. I require no representation. I am here. I am the living being, and all that. And they just continue to ignore me.
Yeah.
And at that point, I asked them, because I'd submitted all the documents which I had to the Crown Court, to their general office, with the appropriate file number for their court file. I said to them, have you reviewed the documents that I, the living being, submitted to the court file? And they said, what documents? And I'm like, oh shit, because those documents were obviously, hopefully, ideally, to stop them at the pass and make them think twice before even expecting me to be there. And the documents hadn't been put into the file.
Well, perhaps they had been, but they're not going to admit to it. That's plausible deniability they're attempting to maintain.
Yeah, exactly. Because being ever the optimist, as I have been most of my life and continue to be, I was thinking, Christ, what's going on? My plan is quickly crumbling, and I'm like, what the hell do I do now?
Well, you do expect them to never speak the truth in that court, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't speak the truth at all. They're not allowed to speak the truth.
Yeah.
They're Satanist priests with wigs and robes on. That's all they are.
But from the stories that we've shared and we see online and so on, it's kind of like, I thought, right, I've got this down pat. I'm going to stop them in their tracks. They're not going to get the better of me. But as you say, they just either ignore it, refuse to hear it, deny it, and carry on regardless anyway, as if you are something on the sole of their shoe.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, on asking them if the judge specifically, I was looking at him most of the time, challenging him, saying, have you seen the documents in the file? Have you read them? And there was a significant amount. There was the clausula rebus sextantibus. There was the various letters that I've sent to the various people of assumed importance, as well as my own input with the maxims of law and everything else. Which they hadn't obviously seen, or they denied seeing. They said, right, we were going to recess while we go and look for these documents. Yeah. So I was taken back down to the cell, this time in handcuffs again, or this time for the first time in handcuffs, this day, and left in the cell for about, I think it must have been about half an hour, and then brought back up again in handcuffs this time, and the judge came back in, and I'd had a half an hour to kind of compose myself, because I have to admit I was a bit rattled, and shaken by this point, because it was like the rug had been pulled from underneath my feet. So I kind of said, just not rudely, but not respecting or giving them any kind of sense of authority. I said, hang on a minute, guys, what is going on here? I don't know who you are. Will you identify yourselves? This was just as the judge was coming in, and but they ignored that, and the judge continued to talk over me, as everybody seems to do in this realm, or their realm, and
that's Satan's realm.
Yeah.
The liars. This is the father of lies. That's the realm that you're
learning this, because I was, I take myself as a nice person. I look for the best in people, and I kind of expect the best in people, and they're just they're shattering my illusion of good in people very quickly. So it's a very, very swift learning curve.
Yes, it's good to get rid of those delusions.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. So he comes back in and he basically says, I've had a look at the documents, which if he had a look at them, he must have glimpsed at them. And he just said, they have no bearing at all on this case. And I'm like, what the hell? And because again, I was thinking, oh, he's going to have a look and he's going to realise that he's up the creek without a paddle. He's going to, say, case dismissed, on your way. No, it didn't happen. So they persisted saying, again, it's hard to keep track because there's no way of me even writing down anything. There are no tables or anything there for me to use, which I was kind of hoping I'd be able to sit down and make notes and all this stuff. But it's all the psychology in place of the imposition and the overwhelming nature of it all. So, but basically, I kind of tried to gather myself and said, look, I don't understand what's going on here. Using, if you like, leaning on one of the maxims, which is the one about
he who creates owns.
No, the one where if you don't understand, one is not present unless he understands.
Yeah,
and again, that had no effect whatsoever. So they are blatantly ignoring their own rules for their own existence.
Definitely.
And
they don't apply. Those rules only apply to you or anyone else who is in their little room. It doesn't apply to them. Yeah, although having stated, and apparently, I know I repeated myself several times, the fact that it's illegal to use a legal name. I am a living, breathing, being. I am the living witness, and so on. Again, just completely ignored. But then I said, I require you to understand that I, the living being, did not attend the court date as of yesterday that was requesting the appearance of the legal name, because I am not the legal name. The legal name is a word, is words on a piece of paper, the intellectual property of someone that an entity that I do not have authority to use. And again, it was like in one ear, or not even in one ear, it was just completely ignored. To a point where they said, the Crown Prosecution Service has communicated with you, and I kept stopping them saying, sorry, they have not communicated with me. I have had no communication as the living being for any invitation or request or whatever to attend anything. Therefore, I cannot respond to any communication as a legal name or title. And so, but the one, I think, unless I'm prepared to be corrected, the one good thing I got out of it was I've got them to address me as the witness. So, because I also said to them, I have in effect, a tacit agreement with the Lord Chief Justice of England and Wales that a communication I sent to them stating the facts of this case as being true, as they was unabated, and they have also communicated with me as the witness, not using a legal title. So that may have swayed them to realise that, oh, hang on, maybe we have to refer to him as the witness then. If the Lord Chief Justice has, then maybe we should. So, and again, because it's all a bit of a whirlwind. Mm-hmm. Sorry, 2 seconds here. Yep.
Beg your pardon. They have referred to me as the witness. And again, like I say, I may have cocked up here, I don't know. But they've said, well, if we address you as the witness and not the legal title, will you attend? Are you prepared to attend a trial by jury on the 28th of April? And I said yes, I would, as long as I was addressed solely as the witness, which they have done. Now I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, that's clearly an offer. That's an offer they extended towards you, and an acceptance that you extended back toward them. So,
yeah, but outside of the legal name.
Nah, because you're again. All it takes is an agreement. The reason they asked you, would you attend?
Yeah.
Is because they have to get your consent. They actually tell me how they asked you. What? Just clarify that one more time. How exactly did they make that offer to you?
Well, it was after. Again, I'm trying to keep it clear in my own mind. Like I say, it was a bit of a whirlwind.
This was a judge, by the way, that extended this to you. This offer.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So he actually.
Sorry?
Just to clarify, he didn't tell you to attend as the witness. He asked you to attend. Correct?
Yeah, well, because he put it in the context of, obviously I didn't attend as I'd expressed myself as being a living being. I didn't attend the invitation from the previous day because it's a legal name and that's nothing to do with me. So then he said, if I address you as the witness, will you attend? And I had returned the documents that had been sent to this property in the name of in the legal name. I returned to the Crown Prosecution Service, written on it, addressee unknown, it's illegal to use a legal name, etc. And so basically denying acceptance of that. He positioned it as, well, you received the documentation, which I didn't necessarily accept what he said, and he kind of continued and said, if you, something to the effect, it was I recognise it was a bit of like threats and menaces.
Okay.
If you don't attend the next scheduled appearance, you may be remanded in custody. And then said, afterwards, once I clarified the thing about the witness, he said, would you, something to the effect of, would you be prepared or would you attend if we address you as the witness? And I think at that moment I kind of thought, oh, success. I've got them to communicate to me not as the legal fiction, as the legal name, but as the witness. So what he did then, he pulled out the paperwork, because I said, I have had no communication, as I said, no communication to me, the living being, to attend anything. So then he took the paperwork that I previously returned, he scored out the legal name and put the witness on it, and had one of his henchmen hand it back to me.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I mean,
this is my take on this. Now, earlier he indicated he told you received a document. What that means is you accepted it as if you had legal authority to do so. That's what he meant by received. He's telling you that you received it, meaning you accepted it.
Right.
So you didn't have legal authority to even receive or accept that document. So he got you right there.
You reckon?
Well,
but then
listen. This is what it's all about. They're keeping everything real tight to offer an acceptance here.
Right.
And he just pointed that out to you. No big deal. It's all in the past. And by the way, guys, this is all fraud. Okay? Anyways, but here's the thing. The living cannot be compelled to attend the dead's meetings.
Yeah.
They have to be invited. The living have to be invited by these satanic priests in robes, and they're going to summon the witness. And you've agreed to show up, so there's a problem there.
Yeah.
Because
that's where I kind of had this unsettled feeling that I had somehow been tricked, duped, manipulated, whatever, and it makes me feel a bit kind of naive and stupid now, if that is the case. Although at the time my head was spinning when I was in there, and it felt like I'd achieved some degree of success.
Well, this is what you're going through in order to be fully immersed in this experience and to fully learn the lesson. As it's been said before, the lessons will keep coming until we master the lessons. The course, the course is a series of lessons.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of us, it takes a few lessons more than others. Yeah. But I think what is important here is that you have seen the offer and the acceptance. You have seen the contracting of the living with the dead. Because that priest, rather, I'm going to just call these guys for what they are. Yeah. They're priests of the Book of the Dead. That's what they read from. Yeah. And so when he scrawled out the so-called legal name, the legal persona, and put in the witness, he simply created a new artificial entity. He's legally created something there. That's a legal actor now called the witness. And it's on a page in the Book of the Dead.
Right.
Now, you're going to have to figure out what to do next.
Yeah,
because you're back to square one.
Yeah.
But here's the difference.
I've learned a lot.
They're unlike the other situations. There's agreement now.
Right.
On your side. So you're going to have to figure out what to do about that.
Yeah.
I can't tell you.
No.
I can tell you what I would do. If I got tripped up like that in court, I just wouldn't go.
Right.
So these guys they didn't invite you to go into their court to be looking for wisdom and insight. They are looking to steal your essence.
Yeah.
And you need to come to this really quick and determine whether or not you're going to allow them to do that. And like I said, if it were me, I would definitely not allow for that.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't, again, I'm not, it's, when you're going through these situations, you say things because you're in a very weakened place. You're in there, you're playing ball on their turf.
Absolutely.
And it does things to us. Yeah. But
yeah, definitely.
I
definitely felt that more on this occasion.
You know that you cannot, because the way they're seeing it now is that when you show up, if you show up to the next court date, you're going to be attempting to be the legal representative of the witness. The witness is now, they see it as a name, not capacity.
Right.
Because a witness in their court would be using a legal name, but be working within the confines of the witness capacity.
Yeah.
See, but they're not looking at that. There's no need for you to show up if they saw you in the capacity of a witness. There's no need for you to show up at a jury trial. They are there to try you.
Yeah.
For perceived crimes associated with what they think that you did, and you're not going to be there as an expert witness providing testimony to what you saw firsthand. That's not how they're seeing this. They're there to steal from you.
Yeah.
And
then thinking that I had established with him that I was not the legal name, and being tricked, possibly, as you say, and that he had addressed me as the witness, and thinking that was a success, my mind then raced on thinking, right, given that's a success, I potentially have the opportunity now to present my full story to 12, a jury of 12 of my peers. And I said to the judge, I said something to the effect of, how much time do I have, or would I have, to present my side as the living being? And he said, as much time as you want, but as long as you don't repeat yourself. Because obviously I'd repeated myself several times today. So then my mind was, and has been since through today, thinking, right, I've got to put together a presentation to convince a jury of 12 of my peers that I have the freedoms that the freedoms that I'm fighting for are true and right. You see.
Mm-hmm.
So
there you can't have, the first thing that you're going to have to ask a jury of your peers is, are you currently an attorney? The answer will be no. Then you say, well, are you currently using a legal name? And the answer is going to be yes. So they cannot be your peer at that point. No one will be able to enter that jury without legal name use. So the only ones that could really, you have no jury of a peer. You have no peers that are available to a judge, whatever's brought before them. Man, this is just this is the only reason that they want you to attend is to further the Crown's agenda. It's to further the Crown's agenda, which is to a continuance of the enslavement system by means of the illegal use of birth certificate documents. That's all they want. And they're gonna, there will be no fair fighting going on here. This is, nothing's fair in love and war, right? Well, you're talking about a war situation going on in that court. Yeah,
but it's obviously it's an unfair war. I actually said to him, I said at one point, I said that I felt intimidated and overwhelmed, and that this was a unilateral bombardment against me, the living being.
Yes.
But again, it was like talking to a brick wall. Everything I said, apart from this thing about the witness, which obviously he's latched onto, and from what you're saying, kind of seized an opportunity there.
Yes.
And me thinking it was a minor success, and probably not then. It's just a whole... it's still not... It still can't sink in, if you like.
Well, here's what a success would be. They can't get rid of you fast enough, and they don't invite you back to their house.
Exactly, but then what can one do in order to achieve that?
You have to remain extremely toxic to their system of deceptions. Here's all that needs to be said. Look, guys, I'm not an attorney. I do not have the legal privilege to use any legal device, such as a birth certificate or the legal names and information thereon, which, by the way, is Crown copyright protected. You cannot force me to violate the law.
No.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing else needs to be said. Anything from that point forward is just a ruse to get you to accept whatever offer that they place in front of you, because that's what they did. They didn't tell you to do anything. They actually invited you, and you accepted on the condition that the witness were to show up. And I'm telling you right now, the witness has been, a legal name has now been created called the witness. That's the way this is resonating with me, because they can't deal with a no-namer. They cannot see a non-legal entity. They can't see a living man in these courts. They have no authority over living men. They only have authority over men that have egregiously chosen to use that which does not belong to them.
Yeah.
The legal name.
Yeah.
Or anything legal. Anything legal doesn't belong to a living man.
So in that sense, then, if I don't know how I would go about doing this, but if I could demonstrate that I've recognised that I had been deceived again, then any contract with includes deception is null and void, isn't it?
Well, it is, and here's the thing, and I hope I'm elucidating this for you. When you agreed to go to the court, you agreed to go, but what they are saying is you have agreed to go and represent the witness.
Yeah, and again, this is obviously it's a different interpretation from both parties or one non-party.
Right. So you can't be compelled. You cannot be forced to break the law, and you're going to be breaking the law if you go there to represent the witness. You're not going as the witness because they're going to send paperwork to what? They're probably going to send you. It'll be interesting to see what they send via post. Are they going to send us something in the name section it says the witness? That'll tell you real quick who's on trial. It's the witness who's on trial, not this idea that you're going to show up and tell everyone about the fraud that the satanic priest acting as a judge is involved in. They're not going to allow for that. They're not going to allow for that at all.
So and this is where I'm, to be perfectly honest, I'm quite still bewildered and confused and trying to soak this all in. So what would they would just shut me down if I ever start speaking about that, or?
Well, they may, but I don't. You're not. Again, only legal representatives are allowed in these courts. Yeah, that's it. That's the only. So your prosecutor is a bar attorney. Your Heine, satanic priest. His dishonorable. He's a bar attorney, and you, the third leg of this stool. You have to be a legal representative or act as one. So you're immediately in dishonor because you are not a bar attorney. Yeah. This is no place for you. No. This is again, I have to admit, this is I'm struggling to get the full kind of concept of this to register at the moment. Well, you're going to get it. I think you are getting it. Just from your last court situation, you got that they did not hear you, and that the first opportunity that they could latch onto that would allow them to make an offer to you that may get a hold of you. Yeah. Well, they did that, and it worked. Yeah. But given that they've already either not recognized or denied any of my previous communications on paper. Yeah. I don't see. At the moment, I'm feeling challenged as to what my next step could be to, other than just to ignore everything and be arrested again. Well, I would, I'll just tell you what I would do. I would just simply, anything coming from a court cannot be coming to me. Nothing, because I know it's a legal fact that courts can only see other legal fictions. And people have to step up. This is called the summoning process. What is being summoned? Well, the legal name is being put out there. It's being summoned. But what the bar maggots are wanting to happen is for a living man to step up and illegally represent that apparition, that dead legal fiction that is listed in the Book of the Dead. And I guarantee that the witness entity is now listed in the Book of the Dead. Right. It's boggling my mind how they can, how that can work. I'm a very logical person normally. It all works because these are authors. When you saw him strike a name out and write another one in, you were witnessing fraud, number one, but you were also witnessing a legal work being imagined and expressed on the fly, right there. Yeah. Because when he scratched out the legal name, did he put the witness in the same box that the legal name was in? He put it to the right-hand side of it. but it's real close to it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So there it is. It's the legal name now. The witness is the legal name. It has been written into the Book of the Dead by a barrister, by one who is legally authorized to write in the Book of the Dead.
Yeah. This is the thing as well. I mean, I'm not sure on the specifics in the UK, but whether a judge, I take it he has to be a barrister as well, or has been at some point.
He couldn't have written something in there without being a member of the legal society.
Right. Yeah.
So he's a bar carder.
Yeah. Well, if I can establish who, because I didn't get anybody's name or title or anything. They withheld all that. But if there's some way through my contacts I can find out who that judge was, and I don't know whether I'm going to be able to find out whether he is a bar card holder or not, then that's one avenue of investigation.
No, it's not. No, because there's again, the rules don't apply to these people or their servants.
No.
So if he wasn't, even if he's not a temple bar priest,
yeah,
he's a servant to one. The rules don't apply to the servants and the temple bar priest; they apply to everyone else.
Yeah.
But it would be very unusual for a non-bar priest to have the audacity to scratch a name out, a legal name, and put another one in. That guy was acting in supreme legal authority fashion to have done such a thing, to scribble out something in the Book of the Dead and add something to it. That's definitely a temple bar priest doing that. Right. So, again, the whole idea here that I hope many people will come to realize is that any interaction with actors within the legal dominion is designed to steal your life energy, your life force energy, and it has nothing to do with anything else. It's always about that, perpetuating the enslavement system through free will choice.
Yeah.
And that comes in the form of accepting any offers or invitations extended to the living being from the legal construct or the so-called matrix.
Yeah.
And it requires a complete divorce.
Yeah.
From that in your mind, in your intentions, in your actions.
Yeah. This goes back to what I was saying a few minutes ago, is that if they're not going to hear what comes out of my mouth and they're not going to recognize what I write on paper to them, there's no winning.
There is no winning unless you were a member of this closed legal society, and then you're going to do a lot of winning because that's the way it's designed. It's designed to benefit the members of the legal society only.
Yeah.
Not the usurpers. People who don't have the bar card are usurping.
Yeah.
Authority. They do not have the legal authority to be involved in that legal system.
No.
And they are, they're the ones who are invited for dinner because they are dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
They're the guests of honor, people who are illegally using Crown property.
Yeah.
So this is again your life experiences. You're racking them up here. You're getting in there. You are investigating. You are seeing it the way you need to see it.
The challenge is, throughout my life, I've always learned the hard way.
Yeah. Well, you did learn. You did learn, right?
Yeah.
There you go. There's a lot of people out there who just don't learn.
No.
There's the big problem.
Yeah. Like you say, though, it's figuring out my next move, without, whether it's something that is drastic or not so drastic, or whether I attend and do whatever I can to have my message heard clearly by a group of my non-peers, and end up being convicted or whatever they want to illegally or unlawfully convict me of, and suck it up and know better for the next time. I don't know what.
Well, here's the deal. They do this day in, day out, and at night too, 24/7.
Yeah.
And when they're not doing it, they're dreaming about doing it. Yeah. And when they're not doing it, or they're not dreaming about doing it, they're talking to their bar attorney peers about doing it.
Yeah.
And it's thousands of years now of experience.
I've only been into this for 3-4 months.
Yes. And the only way to win against these experts at deception is to not play with them. You cannot play with them.
Yeah.
It's so simple. I know, and I know, and you are a nice guy.
Thank you.
And they use that. They use that against you.
Yeah. Yeah.
These people that you are playing with are blood drinkers.
Yeah.
They're vampires.
I stood there and quite confidently said, I am a natural living being of standing in truth and love. I have no business here. I have no authority. And they still do that.
They do. And they appreciate that you're a natural living being. They need your life force. They will suck you dry if only you agree to it.
Yeah.
Because they're dead.
Yeah.
They got to have natural living beings because they're totally dead and totally unnatural.
Yeah.
And they know it. And they need you to come in. They're not going to force you to do anything. No. They need you to come in of your own free will choice and give them your main vein, your jugular, and they'll happily sink their fangs into it and drink until there's nothing left.
Yeah.
That's the way they are.
Yeah. No, just thinking out loud from, obviously this conversation, the one thing that I'm thinking is worth doing is to send a signed for correspondence, communication letter to the CPS detailing that I have realised, basically something forming a tacit agreement, possibly in their terms. But then I've got an issue with that as well because that's playing in the legal realm again, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, other than just. Yeah, I'm lost as to if there is anything I can do.
You have already done it.
Other than just ignore everything and wait for them to come and abduct me the next time.
There's no guarantee that they'll come and abduct you. They didn't abduct you this time.
Well, no.
I mean, I can see where did they have to drag you, or did you walk to the paddy wagon?
No, it wasn't even paddy wagon. It was quite a smart police car.
Yeah.
And this thing it's like, because it's as you say, being a nice guy, cause no harm, treat people as I would expect to be treated myself. I've been blatantly taken advantage of, and they've taken the piss one way or another.
Right, and you've seen, and now you know this, and so now you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And that is not going to change insofar as they're concerned. No. The only thing that can possibly change is the way that you deal with them.
Yeah.
And if it were me, I would be very nice and kind and diplomatic, but at no time would I offer up any agreement to any of their offers. They offer, everything they do is to every offer that they would extend toward me is to get me to do something bad and be dishonorable and to help them destroy me.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. This is the reality of it.
Yeah.
And, in my own situations, I've seen this happen. I've been through that learning curve. I don't need to be shown anymore. I know what they are. And that's the way it goes. And so it just depends on what you want to do. If it were me, I would just simply not play ball with them at all. And if they feel the need to break a door down to get to me, well, then they're going to have to do that. Yeah. I am not going to assist them in breaking that door down or opening the door for them. They're going to have to do that, and they're going to have to do their thing. And, you know, this, when you accept reality for what it is, and you get on the side of the natural world, to create, you know, reality, creation.
I thought I was there already.
Well, this is, I think that you're getting a really good, you're getting the lessons you need to get, Cairo, in order to get to where you need to be in creation.
I recognize that.
You cannot bargain with the devil. The devil bargains with you. Yeah,
and tricks the hell out of you.
That's right. And so, again, you know, it's not being literal here, but as I was trying to explain to someone last night, the devil, and again, totally not literal. Don't go off on the wrong road here.
Sure.
Look at the devil like you look at me or anyone else. It's an entity that was created by the Creator.
Yeah.
And so the devil, not being the Creator, has no authorship or authority over another living being created by the Creator.
No.
In order to get control of another living being, which stands right next to him, the devil, on equal footing, he has to deceive that living being into thinking he's God and has authority over them.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to convince them to such an extent that that living being agrees to and consents to be under the authority of that so-called devil.
Yeah.
Which in this case, the devil is simply these very negative, very evil, if you want to use that vague term, these evil tendencies within men who have figured out how to acquire what they need from creation through stealing it, theft by deception style, from other living beings.
Yeah.
And but they can't. They have to get consent to do that. And that sounds like that's what they got when you open that door, or someone that you had some authority over that door opening.
Yeah.
You could have stopped it, but that didn't happen. The door opened, and the parasite was invited in.
Sure.
And that doesn't work.
No. Yeah. Yeah. And that, I'm totally recognizing what you're saying there now, and it's well.
Let me point something out about this guy. The guy that they sent to your door. They probably figured they did a little bit of personality assessment on you and said, well, this is the best guy to send to you.
Yeah, probably.
Because this nice guy is going to appeal to Cairo.
Yeah, rapport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does go that deep. It does go. They are very considerate of everything that they do in the demonic dominion. Yeah. There's no accidents.
No, I recognize that. Yeah. And I just feel... I feel deceived.
Well, man, they got about 1,000 years on you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, most people do feel deceived. They feel icky and dirty and whatnot after they leave a court. Very common.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know that. I've got that feeling. Yeah.
I mean, after I get off the phone with attorneys, I got to wash my ear.
Yeah.
And put some hydrogen peroxide in there. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Definitely. Get that parasite out of there.
Yeah. Every little last vestige of it.
Yeah. It is. It's just, I don't know, it is the whole thing of, I have been brought up to expect the best in people, look for the best in people, and like I say, treat people as I would expect to be treated. But, the deeper I'm getting into this, sadly, the more I'm waking up to the fact that it's deeper than I even thought it could be.
Yeah, well, you just keep on being that way. But just because you're a fundamentally good human being doesn't mean that you have to compromise with people whose prime objective and only objective is to reduce you to a copper top battery, a slave.